Good day everyone. My topic for today is cosine curve. So the objectives of to how to graph cosine curve is first learn to sketch the graph of circular functions and some of their variation. And the third is observe the properties cosine curve. So the terms of cosine curve is first amplitude. So the amplitude is the distance from the x-axis going to the maximum point, or from the x-axis or the horizontal line going to minimum point. And the period is a one complete cycle from 0 to 2 pi. So the formula to get period is 2 pi over b. And the domain is from negative infinity to positive infinity. And the range of the graph is from negative number and to positive number. And the maximum point is a highest peak of a graph. And the minimum point is the lowest peak of a graph. So this is the given. So given is y equals e cos x, and y equals cos x. So the amplitude of this given is 1, and the period is 1 cycle, so this 2 pi. And the domain is negative infinity and positive infinity. And the range is negative 1, 1 and positive 1. So the intercept is pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2 and 5 pi over 2 and 7 pi over 2. So the maximum point of this graph is 1, and the minimum point of this is negative 1. And the interval is negative pi over 2 and 2 pi. So this is the graph of the given y is equals e cos x. So the amplitude is over there, and the maximum point is the highest peak of the graph. So this is the maximum point. So maximum point is 1, and the minimum point is negative 1, the lowest peak of the graph. So the amplitude and maximum point and minimum point is negative 1, and the range of this graph is negative 1 and positive 1. And the domain is negative infinity and positive infinity. So again, the amplitude of the given function of y equals e cos x, so is 1. So the amplitude is 1, and the maximum point of this graph is is positive 1. And the minimum point is negative 1, the lowest peak of the graph. And the domain is negative infinity and positive infinity. And the range of this graph is negative 1 and positive 1. And the y-intercept of this is 2 pi 2. The y-intercept of this given is pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2 and so on. And the period is 2 pi. So 2 pi. So how to get period? So period. So period is equals 2 pi over b. So since b is 2, so 2 pi over 1 divided by 1 over 2. So the answer is so the b of the given is 1. So period is equals 2 pi over b. So since the b is 1, it's equals 2 pi over 1. So 1 divided by 2 pi divided by 1, so 2 pi. So the period of the given x equals cos x is 2 pi. So another example. So identify the amplitude, maximum, minimum, and domain range of the given function below. So the example is y is equals to cos x over 2. So the amplitude of this given is 1 and the period is 4. The maximum is 1 and the minimum is negative 1. And the domain is negative infinity and positive infinity. And the range is negative 1 and positive 1. And the intercept is pi and 3 pi, 5 pi, and 7 pi. And the interval is negative pi and 4. So the graph is look like this one. So the amplitude is 1. The amplitude is 1. So the amplitude is to get the over there. And the maximum point is the highest peak of the graph. So maximum point is the violet circle. And the minimum point is the lowest point of the graph. And the domain of this is negative infinity to so the domain is negative infinity and positive infinity. Sorry, hindi ako marunong to drawing this like this. ano. So, ayun, the domain is negative infinity and positive infinity. So, to get the range of this is negative 1 and positive 1. So, the interval and the intercept of this is the pi and 3 pi and so on. And the interval is negative pi to 4 pi. So, that's all. Thank you and God bless.